Hey guys, Joe with ECRM here, and I have with me Kate Soffe, category manager for health and beauty with Overstock, and she was a buyer participant in our virtual session last week. So, Kate, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
So, I think what was really cool about this was your first experience with ECRM. So,
Yeah, it was.
I definitely want to get into your experience on the platform, but before we do that, for those five people who don't know about Overstock, can you give a little description of the company itself?
Yeah, Overstock is an e-commerce retailer. We specialize in home goods, furniture, but we also have a lot of other categories, including jewelry, health and beauty, pets, kids, and things like that. Our mission is to provide dream homes for all. So we have a huge variety of products. We have great prices, great value, and we've been around for over 20 years.
Perfect. And so obviously, you like everybody else, this whole pandemic thing has impacted us and gotten in the way of our face to face and travel. How has that impacted the way you do your business day to day?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, COVID-19 has derailed our entire travel schedule for 2020. I had planned on attending several markets, an ECRM session, and was planning to, bring on some hopefully new suppliers this year. And we've had to really readjust our plans. So when ECRM reached out and said they were going to reschedule, um, and allow us to do our session virtually, I was really relieved because this was so far my only chance at doing that this year, other than just cold calls and following up on leads. So, yeah, it was a great opportunity to be able to get to meet some new suppliers within the areas we were looking for.
Great. And you still have to do your job, even though you can't travel and meet people in person. You still need to find new products and plan your category. Correct?
Right now is a really important time to actually be looking for more ways to grow your business. At Overstock, we have seen historically high traffic and sales. So we're frantically looking to fill assortment gaps and bring on new partners to add to our business because we just have so many customers who are looking for so much. We have a lot of out of stocks right now, so we're just looking to bring on as many partners who can fill those needs as possible, of course strategically, but right now is a really great time to be looking for e-commerce partners because we are happy to bring you on and sell your products.
So that's great. So let's talk about the experience itself. So you were registered for our when it was in person in March. You were
Mm-hmm.
registered for that. So
Yeah.
once we flipped it and let you know that it was going to be virtual in May, what happened from there? How did our team work with you to kind of get you prepared for the whole meeting? First, you were new to ECRM, and
Yeah.
now we have this new platform. So how did our team work with you to get set up?
Yeah, they were really thorough. They followed up as soon as they had dates and said, "Hey, if you're interested, let us know. We'd love to have you." Basically, a lot of the same companies that you were scheduled to meet with in person are going to be attending, and so we'll just add them right to your schedule. Basically, just block out a couple hours of each day, and we will have a system ready for you guys to basically meet via video and talk through your needs. What they did then was they set up like a run through of how to use the system. So we got to basically meet face to face as if I were the buyer and they were the vendor. They showed me how to use the notes, how to use the help, system if I needed it, and the countdown when the meeting began, when I move on to the next meeting. It was really streamlined, really straightforward. So I was really impressed with that. I didn't think I would need the walkthrough ahead of time. I was like, no, I've got this, but I'm actually really glad they did it because it wasn't like just a regular Zoom call. It was through their own system. So it made it a lot more streamlined and efficient that way too.
Excellent. And yeah, we do have some additional tools that are more specific to you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
did you use the notes and the rankings and the follow up tools?
I did. Yeah, I used the notes really heavily. I thought that was really nice because then I could just say, hey, really quick, these guys fit my criteria. These guys don't. These guys I want to follow up quick. These guys I don't, and it made it really easy to go back afterwards and say, okay, here's the contacts that I want to follow up with this week. Here's these guys that I'll pass on or want to follow up differently. And it was all in one place. I wasn't scrambling to make new, notes in my OneNote document every time. It was nice that it was all there and I can just go back and reference it when I need to. The star ratings was cool too, because then I could sort and find the top opportunities for me. And all of their contact information was right there also. So that was really nice because in our case, we just sent follow-up emails the day after we were finished, me and my business development manager. And we just didn't even wait for the vendors. We just said, here's the information, here's the contracts. If you're ready, we're ready. So that was really convenient also.
I'm sure the vendors really love that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, because, normally, if you're at an in-person event or one of our sessions, you need to dig out and get home. You need to travel home and then dig out and, catch up on emails. Here, as soon as you're done, it's right there for you. So it's a little easier.
Days or weeks usually after a market for me to get back to these vendors.
So yeah, I'm sure they appreciated it that much. So now you did mention, that there was one point when a supplier didn't show up. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about what happened there and how, that was resolved?
It was my last vendor meeting. So I was there, I was waiting. There's no second video to pop up. So I honestly was like, okay, I'm just going to give them a minute and, maybe they'll be late. So I took a few steps away from my computer and started doing something else, just waiting for them to come. And then eventually someone from ECRM, I think they were kind of jumping into each meeting to make sure someone was there. And they were like, hi, Kate, are you there? And so I went in and they were like, oh, hey, let me call them. We know they had something come up during their last meeting. So that 30 seconds later, they were there. We had our meeting. It was fine. So it worked out great. I didn't even have to ask for help. I just waited for a minute and they were already there.
Well, you know what it is? They have a dashboard. And the dashboard shows everybody in every meeting that's happening, and it also shows the number of people that are in the meetings. Mm-hmm. So if you hit the contact support button, there's an indicator, and they will get in touch with you right away. Or if they see, I'm guessing they probably saw that there was only one person in that meeting, and they're thinking, wait a minute, it's too late, let's go after it. So, and that's one of the things that we're trying to ensure is that, things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. You're going to have, you're dealing with all these different Wi-Fis, all these different computers. Yeah. You see on the news, you got 3 people, they're interviewing somebody you can't hear, somebody, drops out or whatever. So it's a fact of life in this virtual world. The key is how fast do you address it? And that's one of the things that we're trying to ensure. So, so that's cool. So now moving forward, where do you see how do you see virtual mixing in as we go forward and start to get out of this? I mean, it's going to be around for a while, this whole pandemic thing, but once we start getting out of it, where do you see the mix?
Yeah, I personally love the idea of being able to do these sessions virtually. I'm a mom, so I have a 10-month-old baby. So it's a lot to try and travel for work. So this was great because I could just stay home and didn't have to leave. But I also see the benefit of in-person. So I'm sure there will be a healthy mix of both, for me at least in the future. I still will probably attend sessions in person, but I'll be able to attend more than I probably would with my schedule if they're offered virtually as well this way, because it was so seamless. I was really impressed with the process. I was impressed with how many actual qualified vendors I got to meet with. Again, this being my first session, I didn't know what to expect. So I was really excited to see the amount of vendors who are willing to come in and meet my requirements and get to work. So I would love to see both. And I think more markets and things like that will probably go in this direction as well.
Yeah. Well, we certainly are. We're going to even, once this is all done and behind us, we're going to have a mix of both virtual and in person because, we're hearing things like you just mentioned, but also other opportunities as well. Like I was speaking with a supplier last week, and one of the things they brought up that I think applies to you guys too on the buyer side is, if you were training somebody, let's say you had a assistant buyer or somebody new to the desk, it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to just bring them along virtually than to have them be out of the office for that whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was how it worked out really well too with our business development manager. She could make the first day's meetings, but not the next days. And so she was just like, I'm just going to jump in where I can and help you out. And so it was great to have her along. But for the others, then I just was able to catch her up to speed afterwards. So yeah, that was a really nice, flexible option.
Very cool. So, question as far as suppliers go, is there any type of presentation, like what makes for an ideal virtual supplier presentation, in your opinion? What aspects?
I loved having a lot of detail so that they just answered my questions as they went through their entire presentation. I didn't have to, at the end of some, they would be pretty general about their products, and I would feel like, oh yeah, that's nice. And then by the end, I'd be like, there's a lot of questions that I should have asked that I'm going to have to go back in an email and ask about pricing and lead times and, their e-commerce capabilities and content and things like that, that you'd only have 20 minutes. And so you're just trying to get through as much meat as possible, but there's still a lot of things. So I appreciate really thorough presentations with details about their capabilities right there up front. I don't need to know as much sciencey fluff. Sometimes they get really deep in a product, and I do want to know what adds value, but I also want to know, I want to get to the meat of your details and how you're going to be a partner with me. So I think that was really helpful when they would give me the value add and why their product is unique, but also here's our pricing, here's how fast we ship, here's our marketing content and capabilities. So when it was a good mix of both, I liked that.
Excellent. Any preference to them using a slide deck or holding up products into the screen, or, does it matter?
I feel like slides helped me. It was nice to have a visual with both like metrics and product content. It was great when they had physical product too to show me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just depends on what kind of product they're selling, but most partners that I talked to had decks, and it was really helpful.
What about enthusiasm and passion?
Yeah, those are also very helpful. We had the first vendor we spoke with. She was so excited. She got right in. You could tell she cared so much about like the health of the people. She was making health supplements, and she was just so excited and really, really sold her product to me. So that was really fun because she was probably the most memorable vendor we spoke with.
I think that's key. That's something that I plan on doing some content around that soon, is that the importance of the person in these
Mm-hmm.
presentations too,
Mm-hmm.
because people forget that even though it's virtual, it's still that person. And
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen some presenters that did it amazing. They were so passionate, and like you said with the supplier you talked about, you just knew they deeply believed in it, and they really were into it
yeah,
110%.
yeah.
And that really comes through on the screen, which you wouldn't think so, but it does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you could tell the difference between those who were just like reading, metrics off a slide,
Yep.
and they were just kind of going down the line of their assortment, and it just felt a little rehearsed compared to someone who was like, I founded this company, and here's why everyone should have this product. And some people were really great at articulating that, and that definitely stood out.
And it almost makes you feel like you are in person with them when they nail that right.
Yeah, yeah, and they had they had a whole backdrop of products, and it looked like you were inside their shop, basically. And so that was really fun, too, because she was just showing me one after the other and how they packaged and how delicious they were and all these
I think
things. So
I think
it
I
was
know
good.
exactly who you're talking about, and
Yeah.
I'm actually interviewing her later on this week.
Oh, good. She's fabulous.
So cool. Kate, thank you so much for this. I'm just glad you had a great experience, and I do hope to eventually meet you in person one of these days at a future session.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, take care and stay safe.
Thank you.